Leetcode question. It's a concurrency question. We can do it in C++. You have a function print number that can be called with an integer parameter and prints it to the console. So each of these functions are called on different threads, and basically we want to add some code so that it prints it out in this order. So 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, exactly this sequence. How do we get it to do that? By kind of synchronizing them together. Right, so we have zeros on every even index, and we have the evens printing out here, and like here, and odds here, and we just repeat that. Let's see how we can do this. So in C++, there is, okay, let's think of a brute force approach first. So there is, we could have an index, a global variable called index. Let me call it maybe I. No, that's not a good name. Let's call it n. It's basically what we're up to so far. Oh no, they already have n. Okay, let's make it I then. And if I is equal to 2n, so that's the length of the series, then break out of whatever function you're in. But if I is even, so if I modulus 2 is equal to 0, then print out 0. So make sure this function prints out 0. If it's not even, then there's two cases. Either we want to print out even or print out odd. I wonder if I can figure it out using just the same variable here. So can I do I divided by 2? If I is divided by 2, and then check if it's even or odd. Because I'm guaranteed that for each number here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's paired with a 0 before it. So then it'll be even, so I can divide by 2. It'll be even if this is odd, right? So like for 1, for example, that would be index I equal to 1. Then I could do I divided by I could do I plus 1 because it's index 1, but I want the ith number instead. So I plus 1 divided by 2. So that gives me 1, right? And if that's odd, so if that's modulus 2, then print out, then it's even, so print out an even. Otherwise, yeah, print out odd. Right, so we can have just a single global variable to keep track of all this information. Int I, start it at 0. And every time something prints out, we increment I. And that would work, except there is a problem, and I've done this question before. And it goes up to 1000. If you have all of these threads kind of fighting for trying to print out something, even though it's not their turn to print out, it's way too slow. So we need some kind of way to, and also because it's multi-threaded, get a problem of halfway through an if condition, another thread starts to print out something, and then it invalidates that if condition while you're going through it, and then that's not good. So you need a way to lock you need a way to make sure that while one function is changing the global data, the other functions can't modify the global data or do anything to that. And we do that using a mutex lock. Mutex. So a mutex is like this. Let's call it M. And for mutex, let's see the documentation. C++ mutex. Right, it locks the mutex, blocks if the mutex is not available, right? So if you lock it, that means, and another thread tries to lock it, then they won't succeed until whatever has the lock unlocks it. Although, it is better to wrap a mutex around an STD unique lock. So unique lock, it wraps a mutex and it basically manages the lock for you so that when the unique lock goes out of scope, it automatically unlocks the mutex. And yeah, it's just safer to use it. So it's only movable, we can't copy it. So let's define a unique lock. And do I have to pass in something here? So it takes in the mutex type, I'm guessing. So that's going to be mutex. C++ mutex. Class mutex. Right. So just pass in the mutex. Let's call it LK for lock. And I don't think I need it as a global variable. I think I only create it in the function. And when I create it, I pass in the M. That would make sense, because a lock would have to a unique lock represents an instance of an ownership. So if you have one as a global variable, that doesn't really make sense, because we actually need 3 instances of ownership. Okay, the other thing is we need a condition variable. Condition variable. C++, condition variable. This condition variable is a primitive that can be used to block a thread or multiple threads at the same time until another thread both modifies a shared variable, a condition, and notifies the condition variable. Right, so condition variable basically stores a bunch of conditions represented as functions, so function pointers. And if you call condition variable notify all, it notifies all waiting threads, and it'll go through all the conditions that we store inside condition variable, all the functions, check if any return true. If they return true, then it will lock the lock we passed into condition variable, so the unique lock, to get ownership. And yeah, and then when it unlocks, I'm guessing it will try the other conditions so that they can attain the lock as well. So let's try that. What does it take in? Alright, it's a condition variable. What does it take in? So if the constructor and I say wait for, pass in the lock and I believe a function. Right, so this is a lambda function. That's the condition. Let's just say CV, so condition variable, and then inside I can do cv.lock. No, hold on, wait for. That was it. And I pass in the lock and a lambda function. So the and means, this is the capture part of the lambda function. The capture means what do we want to be able to access inside here. And I think and means we want to reference, we want to be able to reference all the global, everything that's available in this scope, which is actually everything here as well. In this scope, as in the whatever the function scope is. And so the condition we're waiting for here is simply if I is equal to if I is an even number, so it's basically return I modulus 2 equal to 0. If this succeeds, then this will lock the lock for us, unique lock. And then we can print, and then we could first of all increment I, and then print out, so cout I. So it would just be 0. And yep. And make sure now that I've finished, I want to notify all. So where is it? Condition variable notify all. Notifies all waiting threads. How do we use that? You have unique lock, right, you pass it in, cv.wait. Oh, I think I want cv wait, not cv wait for. What's the difference between those two? And then what is this doing actually? You're doing cv.wait and signals. This is sleeping for some amount of time. you're locking this. No, you're not locking. This is just creating a lock, a wrap around the lock, the mutex, that is. Notifying. I think lockguard automatically locks it when you create it, I'm guessing. So we're not using that, so let's not look at this example. Anyways, I might be wanting to use wait and not wait for. So it takes in a predicate. That's probably what I want. Wait causes the current thread to block until the condition variable is notified, or a spurious wake up occurs, optionally looping until some predicate is satisfied. Right, so the first part is relevant. Until the condition variable is notified. So it should be wait. Now that we've done what we want in this function, we can just say zv dot notify all. Notifying all. Once you notify all, and then this lock goes out of scope. Oh, not goes out of scope, because we want this to keep looping, and that means I say while I is less than 2 times n. Less than or equal to 2 times n. Since I'm creating the lock, unique lock within this scope, as soon as we start a new iteration through, this gets destructed, which means the lock will automatically be unlocked. I don't have to call lock.unlock. Alright. Here, the condition would change, so I want to make sure this is odd, and that I plus 1 modulus 2 divided by 2 modulus 2 is equal to, because this is even, I want that to be 0, and then print out basically I before I increment. This has to be 1. Let's give that a go. Expected after return statement. Right. Time limit exceeded. Alright, 010305. What am I trying to print? 2. Well, 2 times n, right? Hold on, I'm supposed to print it out. I'm supposed to call this function. print number I, print number 0. And I just realized that 2 times n, I want this to be less than 2 times n, because when I is equal to 2 times n minus 1, then that's the last one. So when 1 before that is actually going beyond the n. Invalid value? Let's see. Oh, I think the value here I actually want to print is I plus 1 divided by 2. Zero one zero two zero three. Why is it printing out a little bit more than what I want? Well, it is working, like 0102, and then let's think. Two times n is 4, so at some point this number here is 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a bit above what I want. Let's see, let's print out what I is. There's no way. Let's see. Okay, so I'm thinking the reason why it's not working is let's see, I is going through at some point. Okay, at some point I reach 2, and the even one is calling, we see that the index would be 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. So then I do 3 plus 1 divided by 2, which gives me 2. And I print out 2, and that's what I get. And then I increment, so that's 4 now. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I notify all. When I notify all, these are waiting here. They don't wait here. Ah, I see. When you notify all, these threads start waking up from this point onwards, and not from here, not from before the while loop. Does that make sense? So it's like, I have to check it if I is well, if it's equal to 2 times n, then return. Will it ever be greater than 2 times n? Shouldn't be much, well, what if it doesn't satisfy, what if I doesn't satisfy one of these? Because I gets incremented to, what? From 3 to 4, and 4 is this one, and 4 is not odd, obviously. So this doesn't wake up, and then I won't check the if statement to break out. That's kind of an issue. I have to have another statement here. So maybe I could put all of this in brackets and like this, or I is greater than or equal to 2 times n. Then wake up. And check if I is greater than 2 times n, then break out. Since it's 2n, might as well just add it here as well. Or I is greater than or equal to 2 times n. Here I need an or statement. The bracket should be here. Nice one. Alright, let's test 1000. Nice, alright. I'm happy with that. Let's submit it. Cool. I've done it before. This was a while ago. When I did it. Hold on a second. I did it on, today's the 8th of the 10th, so this is the 10th of the 8th. Oh, okay. That wasn't actually too long ago. Like 2 months ago. But I've forgotten how to do it. And there was an issue because I tried resubmitting again, and then it time limit exceeded. I think the reason was because what was the reason? Because I was unlocking the lock. I was doing lock.unlock before I notified all, which was unnecessary because it unlocks anyway when it goes out of scope. When I unlock, then from this point to this point, the other threads can start modifying I believe. I'm not too sure. I'd have to look that up.